see we can do that. You gonna text your wife, make sure she hears.
Oh yeah.
All right.
The Big Dab song is already queued up in there. You see it at the top?
Yep.
Let's rap about it, not talking bars, but conversation and breaking bars and intimate scars, conversations, relations, don't forget observations, once a week clarification, wrong motivation, lock into the station, and rap quality show, well wisdom, knowledge, and understanding we grow. Hey, this is your man J Bam, invite you to tune in to the rap quality show with my brother. I swear Muhammad, Saturday's 1 to 3 p.m. live on CL Radio. Hey.
Well, hello again. All of you inquisitive minds and beings of a higher intelligence. Welcome once again to another episode of Rapology. Born with wisdom, knowledge, and overstanding rule. Today, we have a very special, very special treat for y'all today here at the Rapology Show. This is a brothers panel where us brothers get a chance to just shine without our female co-hosts and what they call them, John?
Shout out to him, though.
Show, yeah, we're gonna shout out to him before I get in trouble. Every time I'm with my brothers, I get in trouble. My wife, swear to God, I forget about him. So anyway, we want to give a shout out to the lovely lady Jennifer, who's not here with us today. She's on assignment doing prison ministry. So we won't be blessed today. Sorry, brothers. Y'all want to get a chance. Sisters too, y'all want to get a chance to hear Awakening with Lady Jennifer. And all y'all who like to hear that aggressive, intelligent, quick thinking voice of Vicky Bailey Dowling. Sorry, brothers and sisters. Y'all won't get a chance to hear him today. But fret not, because I still got a treat for y'all. Oh, I got the silky voice over here of my baritone, bare white brother, John, for all of my listeners out there. How you doing, John?
Doing good, man. Good to be back again. We survived this crazy hurricane, and
Yes, sir.
hey, we back in the house again. So
Yes, sir.
yes,
sir. And I got Mr. Segun at the scene over here.
What's going down, everybody? How y'all doing? How y'all doing?
Yeah. So we got Segun gonna bless us today with some insight and some information on some of your rights, which you can expect, which you can try to recover as a result of this storm. What type of help you can try to reach out and get for others. You know, a lot of people are still without power, man. You know, a lot of people are still hoteling it, man. You know, I was reading a few days ago. Oh, let me back up. And I can't forget about the master rapologist himself, Mr. Muhammad.
Yes, sir. It's your show.
Hey, that's it.
You say that. I ain't no care. Me, my show. I ain't no care, y'all. But anyway, yeah, man, I was reading on Facebook, I think 2 days ago, and the sister said, I think that she called FEMA or something like that for emergency relief and what have you, and they wanted to see her social, make sure she was a citizen, and was she employed prior to this, was her name on the lease where she was staying, and I mean, are you kidding me? All this. So pretty much if she didn't have that information, she was just stuck. You know, so we're here today, man, to try to see if the brother Segun, man, can probably give us some insight on some options you can have if you still needing help or what have you. You know? So it's your show, big man. Take us away.
Oh man, it's your show. I'm just co-piloting it. So what's going on, everybody? So I'm just gonna give some insights, and feel free to call in if you have any questions at 832-846-6226. Once again, that phone number is 832-846-6226. Just a little background. I am a licensed insurance adjuster. I've worked since for about 5, almost 6 years now, doing insurance adjusting all over the country: California, New York, Texas, Oklahoma, Florida. Been a lot of places. Been to a lot of homes, businesses, different things. So I do have some insight on how disasters work, how filing works, how your insurance company thinks of things. Because one thing about insurance, man, is nobody understands insurance until either they start working in it or they have to use it. And a lot of times, if they have to use it and they try to understand, it's too late. So that's kind of why I'm being given this time to speak on it today. So we can start off with the FEMA talk. The FEMA talk. So because I've had to do it myself for my own personal living space. So with FEMA, the first thing that they're gonna make sure is that you're a citizen, that you're eligible for things. And the reason why is just like anybody, they don't like spending money that they don't have to spend, that they're not required or obligated to give. So that's number one. They're gonna protect their pockets and assets first before they give it out. And it's intentional and it's not intentional. But with FEMA, if you, especially if you're a homeowner, if you have your homeowner's insurance, which you're required to have, you should have, hopefully. I understand that people are in different situations in life. But if you have your homeowner's insurance, FEMA will make sure that you talk with your insurance first and go through that process, because one thing about insurance is you cannot be double indemnified, meaning you cannot be paid out twice for something. You can't be paid out by your homeowner's insurance and then turn around and get paid out by FEMA. That can't happen. So they're gonna make sure that whatever your insurance is legally binding and responsible to pay out, they'll pay that out first, and then whatever else that you qualify with FEMA will then pay it out to you. So you have to go through your home. Even now, you may not have, if you say you have damage, even if it's minor damage, they're gonna say contact your insurance. Now the insurance may say, it's not worth you filing a claim because of your deductible. And the deductible is a term we can explain a little later, but if your deductible is high and you don't have over your deductible amount of damage, most likely, it's not worth you filing a claim. They're not gonna expend their resources sending the adjuster out and all of that, most likely. But if you do say that, it could be significant damage, there's gonna be an adjuster come out and inspect your home. So that's to be mindful when it comes to FEMA. So FEMA's not trying to not pay out. What it is they want you to make sure you go through your insurance first, because FEMA is an emergency disaster relief. It's not straight up regular insurance.
Yeah.
So it has to be declared and all of that for FEMA to come out. They're specifically for disaster relief. So they're not to replace your homeowner's insurance. If that was the case, nobody would pay their homeowner's insurance. They just,
Yeah, FEMA would hook them up.
FEMA would be just constantly hooking us up. So so FEMA can do certain things as far as reimbursing hotels, food, things of that nature. Because we know that when power is out, especially with it being summertime, it's hot.
Yeah.
People, the heat is a threat to kids and to elderly people.
Yeah, the pets and all the things. Yeah.
So people do go to hotels. So FEMA's like, okay, we can help out with the hotels. We'll give vouchers or we can reimburse. And then for food, because when power go out, refrigerator, freezer, all of that. And it's funny, side note. So a few days before the hurricane hit, people were posting, HEB had put up that they were rationing certain things. You can only buy a certain amount of water or whatever. And one of the things they were rationing, it said only 2 slabs of brisket per person.
Wow.
And it was like only in Texas,
Wow.
brisket is considered an emergency.
Yeah, that's fine. That's fine.
Something because,
That's
and the reason why is because you want to cook especially if you got a barbecue pit, you want to go down, cook it up, you know, so you don't waste it, you can eat it,
Right.
you know. And so I wish we could have had this show maybe before, because there was things people could have did. There's a lot of things to know, like your dishwasher is like a makeshift safe. It's waterproof. So you could put your important documents in your dishwasher, close it, lock it, and they won't be destroyed.
Wow, I didn't know that.
That's something. And then also, you need to know, like your refrigerator, your freezer, if you keep it closed, how long they can last.
Oh, yeah.
Like the refrigerator is usually like a day, you know, maybe 2 at the most. The freezer is like maybe 3 days. That, you know, things, because that's important to know, because if you, depending on how long your power's out, you come back, if you're thinking if this food is still good or not in the freezer, you know, because my mom messed around and got a little sick the other day, you know what I'm saying, thinking because it was frozen, you know, so it's just things like that to know and be prepared for it. You know, we see this all the time, hurricane preparedness or storm preparedness, and we like, okay, yeah, whatever. But when it comes down to it, my mom and my son were, cause I'm that person. I'm like, no, I'm like, hey, the storm is coming. We need to prepare. We need to be prepared. Man, I'm fit to call my mama out. I love you, mama. I'm fit to call you out. Because it was like a week and a half before I say, mama, we gonna put some sandbags and board up the windows. Boy, you know, I ain't gonna be here. We gonna be gone. You gonna be here. You can stay here if you want to. I'm like, okay, good. We gonna go leave and evacuate, get a hotel. So a couple of days before, I'm like, you ready to head out? You act like money growing trees. Where we going? What you mean? I'm like, oh, I guess we ride it out there. And like, it was like 11 o'clock Sunday night, midnight. She was like, I wonder if your pastor Pascal, I wonder if he'll let us come over there. I'm like, Lord have mercy.
Tried to tell her.
She might be the reason why I'm not married. No, but it was just when things are coming. This is why, especially good, strong men who are truly leaders are important, because next time I'm not gonna give my mom an option. I'm gonna say, this is what we're doing. This is the plan of action. And it's okay for men to have a plan of action, and women, it's okay to follow a man's plan of action. So
till you prove it wrong.
So now, instead of being in a hotel, we're stuck there with no power, no water. Can't wash your hands. Can't wash your behind. You know, no Wi-Fi. The service was out for a while, so you couldn't even get help. And we were actually trapped in our neighborhood. Like the water was high, you couldn't drive through it. So it's important to take plan of actions serious. And we can discuss certain plan actions. So that just kind of opened up. So
let me ask you this. So when you talk about FEMA and you know, versus your insurance company and doing claims and all that good stuff. So pretty much what you're saying is don't expect FEMA to act right away. It's not going to be something like you apply for relief and tomorrow you get the act.
No. So depending on how quick your insurance company send an adjuster or give you a decision, because that's what FEMA needs. What is your insurance company gonna do? And they'll work hand in hand with your insurance company, because I've, as an adjuster, worked with FEMA, because FEMA handles mostly disaster relief and flood. Because especially in Texas and in the South, flood is its own different insurance. Flood is on its own. So there's 2 different types of water when it comes to these type of storms that's classified in insurance. You have wind-driven rain. This is when you have a storm, a thunderstorm, hurricane, tropical storm, and the rain is being driven by, this is before it hits the ground. So if that water enters your home and damages something, that's wind-driven rain, which is usually covered in homeowners. Flood, once that water hits the ground, it's no longer wind-driven, it's flood. So like there was a house in Dallas where her yard was slanted, so the water ran down and entered her home. That's not wind driven. That is flood waters. So it's handled differently. And different coverages could possibly have different deductibles or different ways that they're handled, or may not even be covered. You may have to get an endorsement, which is something that's added on to your original policy, or changes about your original, like it could raise coverage, it can,
Decrease it.
well, decrease it. It has to be, they have to send out a letter and
I see.
notify
Yeah,
you and
yeah.
all of that. So insurance is highly regulated.
Yeah.
Let me tell you that now.
Yeah.
Insurance is no joke. Like, it's highly regulated.
Mhm.
So each state is basically sovereign in how it handles it. But FEMA handles flood a lot, because flood insurance is its own beast.
Mhm.
And so FEMA usually steps in and helps out with flood. So
So let me ask you this with FEMA. So do they require? I mean, they know it's just a storm out there. Do they require proof of any? Like, let's just say, a girl asked me this yesterday. Actually, she was trying to get a claim. I don't know if it was through FEMA or somebody else, but she was saying she had over like $500 worth of food that went bad, and then they were saying, "Hey, you got to prove it." So how can she prove?
Yeah.
Like, she has a deep freezer, she has a refrigerator, stuff that she's had in there for whatever. Yeah, she's thrown it away already and lost it. So how does FEMA or do most insurance companies say, okay, well, you say you had the loss, where's the food at? Where is it? Take a picture of the trash bag. You know what I mean? Like, what, do they require that, or is that when the adjuster goes out, or what?
So with this one, if you notice, FEMA has a set amount that they're giving out.
Oh, okay.
It's $750.
Oh, I see. Okay.
So, but one of the things I always tell people is, when it comes to insurance, documentation is king.
Yeah.
That's why before, and I posted this on Facebook, and unfortunately it was like probably 5-6 hours before the storm hit, but before and after photos are important.
Gotcha.
Now that's what, like, damage to your home car, because before the storm hit, I took photos and videos of my vehicle, my mom's vehicle, of the home, and then so you can kind of contrast after. Now when it comes to the food, I mean, it's kind of hard to fully prove, but to think, that's why they ask questions like, how many live in a household? If you say, I do have a deep freezer and stuff in there, okay, it's most likely they did have. So that kind of thing. Documentation is king when it comes to insurance. And that leads me to another point. Whether it's your home, your car, whatever, if something happens and you know you're gonna file a claim, do not get it fixed before the adjuster comes out. Because not only will they deny it, they could possibly cancel your policy.
Wow.
So that's another thing that's important to know, people. And if you do get it fixed, like when it comes to your home, like say, like things with your home, like your auto don't do nothing. But with your home, like if you have, damage to your roof and water could possibly get in, yes, you tarp it. It's called mitigation. Insurance companies love mitigation, where you keep, $3,000 worth of damage, turning it into $15,000 worth of damage. So if you need to tarp your roof or temporary repairs, by all means do that. But make sure you take photos, and make sure you get invoices and everything, and make sure you go with a contractor you can trust.
Gotcha. Oh, that's good information. Good information.
Well, let me ask you this right quick. Can you, for the sake of those who just tuning in or whatever, we had a little problem getting started earlier. Can you one more time give the audience your contact information and certifications? Because you got those who always logging in. I don't know, you just saying just going.
You ain't just reading.
Inform us, man. Who are you?
So I have. Start from the top. An additional.
Yes, sir.
I'm an insurance adjuster licensed in many states. I've worked all over the country, done all kind of claims. I've been on many roofs, been in many homes, many miles on the road. I've read millions of policies. Oh my gosh. Passed state tests, certification tests. I've dealt with FEMA. I've done work with State Farm, Allstate, Frontline, all over. So I have firsthand knowledge of how this process works. I know how the insurance companies think. I know what they're looking for. Because once again, people don't understand insurance until they have to use it. And a lot of times it's too late. And I really love giving this information, especially for like seniors, People who may live somewhere, don't really have family there, you know, single parents, because a lot of times, you got different adjusters that come out, man. Some adjusters are hardos and
Yeah.
act like they own the company and stuff, and you know. And then you got some who are like, "Listen, I'm gonna advocate on your behalf,
Yeah.
and you know, write up what I can and try to, you know, get things covered."
Yeah. So let me ask you this, not to cut you off, but you said you got different kind of adjusters that come out. Independent adjusters. No, I'm just,
Here we go. Come on now.
no, I'm just because I want the audience because I didn't know.
Yeah.
So I talked to you and you was like, man, because I'm in the process of trying to get a house, and you was telling me about, you know, see if they allow independent adjusters or, you know, appraisals. I'm like,
Exactly.
oh, I didn't know it was different.
Yeah.
A lot of people just don't know.
Right.
So you're an independent adjuster.
Yes.
What's the difference between an independent adjuster and one that's under contract?
So you have an independent adjuster, you have a staff adjuster.
Yeah.
Okay.
So a staff adjuster works specifically for like they just flat out apply for the work for State Farm and they work for State Farm.
Okay.
That's the staff adjuster. Independent adjuster, we which is the majority of insurance adjusters are independent, is almost like a union construction worker.
Yeah.
Where you work by the job, and once that is over, then you good, and then another contract job come up and you work it.
Yeah.
So that's the difference. Staff is on
Work
a
for a
company's
company.
payroll,
Yeah.
Right.
and an independent adjuster works for adjusting firms that get contracted out by the insurance company. Because the thing is, you gotta understand, State Farm is huge.
Right.
State Farm is like the first major insurance company in this country. They have more insureds than every other insurance company combined.
Wow.
So
It's crazy.
good luck finding enough staff for all of that.
Yeah.
And it's like, and the other reason why we have independent adjusters is because each state is different. Some states require a license, some state don't. Texas, I love that Texas is reciprocal with most of the states that require a license, meaning you don't have to take their test, because Texas test is so immersive that it covers all of that state stuff too. So all I have to do is literally pay for the license and I'm good. Like there are certain states though where you still have to take their test, Hawaii, New York, and then California, because California is such a special case in every way. Sorry, Californians, but you have to be a resident of California to get their license. But and most people who work in California who are not from California go under that company's emergency license.
Okay.
So I know Allstate alone sent like 200 adjusters down here after the hurricane. And that's just Allstate. Like I say, State Farm is bigger.
Yeah.
So and then all those adjusters have to find hotels and you know, all this stuff. So it's a good job. You get busy during hurricane season. You're working almost 24 hours a day. People are calling and everything, but you get to travel, you get to see different places, make some money. But I got big by the adjusting bug because I know it's a job, it's a necessary evil almost, because you going after a disaster, but you getting to help people rebuild their lives. And that's what I love about it.
Well, let me ask you this. So as an independent adjuster, is there a set fee, a price that someone would have to pay to get you to come out and assess their damage, their property, what have you, versus if State Farm or somebody came out and done it?
No, so independent, you're still working for a company, but you're just working through a firm. It's almost like working for a temp agency.
Okay.
Yeah. So it's almost equivalent to that. Like you sign up to work for a temp agency, and a job, a company, a warehouse, whatever, say, hey, we need people, and then you own that roster, and you go work. So that's how that works. You're not literally independent, like you just, you know.
So let me ask you this about with your insurance. So I know you cover some of the disaster stuff. Do you deal in car insurance as well?
Oh yeah, definitely. I've done that as well.
So one of the things that has come up, what people have asked me, is about when somebody gets in a car accident, and then they talk about the diminished value of the because a lot of people don't know about that. Yeah, a lot of people
so
don't know
depreciation is something that insurance companies take into, because, like for example, with your roof, they're gonna depreciate, because if you had your roof replaced 10 years ago, that's 10 years worth of wear and tear.
Yeah.
It's not like it's a new roof.
Mhm.
So, or, you know, things get depreciated. Your vehicle, when you drive it off the lot after you buy it, it depreciates. You know, because you put miles, you put wear and tear on the parts, everything. You know, you've had to change the tires, all kinds of stuff. So, depreciation is definitely gonna take an effect with vehicles because they depreciate every time you drive them. And now that leads into what is you know, total loss and all of that. Because if the amount to fix the vehicle is more than the value of the vehicle,
Yeah.
that's when they say, hey, this is total loss.
Yeah.
Like we're just gonna
Replace it.
yeah.
Yeah.
And I know it sucks for people are like, man, I had no car note. Like,
Yeah.
but that's how insurance works.
Yeah, so I know, like I said, with this diminished value, the people get, get in the car accident, then they get their car fixed. They say, hey, well, if I decide to sell it now, it's gonna be worth less since it got an accident on its record.
Yeah.
Some insurance companies will flat out pay, because I got in a car accident and it wasn't my fault, it was the other person's fault. So they were with Geico and they paid me the diminished value, just saying, hey, I know now if you try to sell it, you ain't gonna get what you would if it wasn't an accident. So they paid me what they calculated as the diminished value. Another insurance company said they don't do that. But I didn't really understand that, because again, if you purchase a car and people look up the Carfax and all that stuff, the thing they're looking for is, has this car ever been in an accident?
Or in water.
Yeah, or in water, yeah, flooded or whatever as well. And so can insurance companies say, hey, well, we're not gonna pay for the diminished value, even though the value automatically diminishes when you get in an accident?
Yeah, they can. They you know, they start their business. They can do however they can cover.
Because this company that was saying that they didn't do that, I'm not gonna say who they are, but it's one of the bigger ones.
Small. Oh, well, they wanted
it's a
big
bigger
one.
Yeah, it's one of the bigger ones. It's so like one of the big ones.
So that's, I mean, that's because I would expect the smaller ones to do that.
Right, yeah.
The bigger ones would.
Because Geico was like, oh yeah, it's no thing. They don't promote diminished value. They expect the person to know about it. I didn't know about it instead of doing research or whatever, because they save money.
Doing these talks on insurance, because there's so many things that insurance company won't tell you that people need to know to help with dealing with the process.
Right.
So
how would one tackle that, as far as knowing that the diminished value is something that's a real thing?
But you can see, that's the thing, and it's unfortunate that so back in the day, insurance agents were truly part of the community.
Oh, yeah.
You know, insurance agents used to go have dinners with families and stuff. But now what has happened in these more modern times, a lot of those people are either dead or they're selling off their books. And these new people, you're just a number. Just pay your premium every month.
Their money.
So these insurance companies now are changing up so much. They're much more cost conscious and effective. So they're not really, diminished value is something that, so what I was getting at was this is why it's important for agents to explain stuff to you when you're signing up for a policy.
There you go.
That's what I was getting at. That should have been it. Everything in your policy should be explained to you, and also you should read and ask questions. So, and that's what happens a lot of time. We grew up in an age where, disclaimers and, agree to continue, and we don't read none of that stuff.
They just sign in and say, hey, where's my money? Where's my keys?
But that's why it's important to know what's in your policy.
Yeah. Because
so many people, not just diminished value, there's something called ALE, additional living expense, that's in homeowner policies. And what that covers is additional living expenses of, just like with this hurricane, if you have a washer and dryer at home, but because the power's out, because the water's out, you can't wash your clothes, the cost above, to go to the wash interior and wash your clothes, that's additional living expense. Having to go to a hotel is additional living expense. Everybody expects that to be in their policy, but that's actually an endorsement. That's something that's added on. That's not standard in a lot of homeowner policies.
Wow.
And so once this storm hits, you like, hey, I need y'all to pay for my hotel. Well, you don't have ALE.
Right.
I thought I had it. You know how many times I heard I thought I had it? You know how many times I heard people thought they had rental coverage on their car policy? But the insurance agents aren't explaining their policy. They're just, hey, you want what you want in your policy. Okay, here it is, pay your premiums every month.
Gotcha.
So unfortunately, you know, because I know the first time I signed up with a car insurance, my mom forced me to go with who she had, and I wasn't too thrilled about that. So I did it out of spite, but I learned the lesson. Because when they gave me the policy, I was reading everything. I was taking my time on purpose. But the insurance was like, she was like, well, look like you raised your son right. He's reading through it. And I thought about it, I was like, I should read through it so I know what's in there.
Gotcha.
What's covered, what's not. Because I guarantee you, I can go out on the street and interview 100 people, and probably 70 of them wouldn't be able to tell me what is actually full coverage insurance or auto insurance. Some people have liability, but they have full coverage.
Right. Yeah, I fell in that one time or whatever, but I mean, I knew, I kind of had a general idea, but you know, liability was cheaper, so I went that route. But it don't hurt you until you get in an accident or whatever.
Exactly.
And so, but I wanted to ask you a question back on this diminished value thing. And so, do you have to have, because the person I'm talking about who got in an accident, the other person, it was the other person's fault, but they didn't have insurance at all.
Yeah.
And so, in the one who had insurance, they did not have uninsured motorists.
Oh, wow.
So, you know what I mean? Could that have led to not paying for the diminished value, or does that have nothing to do with that?
No, that has a lot to do with it.
Yeah.
So, because if you don't have uninsured motorists,
that's
not even, what's the point of even, you know?
Right.
I mean, it's almost like, what's the point of having insurance if you don't have uninsured motorists? Because not everybody's out here driving with insurance. Now, you gotta have car insurance in state law, but But I mean, that's just difficult, man, to deal with. You don't have uninsured motorists and somebody hits you that doesn't have insurance. At that point, you just get a lawyer.
And then secondly, what about if, so in that same example where the other person didn't have insurance, and then well, I'm sorry. So I said that the person didn't have uninsured motorists. They did have uninsured motorists, so that was fine there. But typically, can your own insurance company pay you for the diminished value, or should we go after the other person's insurance, whether they have it or not? If they don't, we can get a lawyer and all that. But you know what I mean? Like, how does that? Because I didn't understand why the own insurance company, the one that's supposed to have your back, is saying, hey, you just out of luck, we're not gonna pay you for your diminished value.
So that's at the discretion, once again, of the insurance company, because that's called subrogation, which is another thing to know about insurance. Subrogation is when your insurance company indemnifies you, covers you, pays you out, but then they go after the other party.
Oh yeah.
So that's what would have happened. So I kind of would expect that person's insurance company to pay the diminished value, because they could just go after the other person, the other party for it legally. But it's at that insurance company's discretion. But that's what happens whenever, you know, the other person, or even if they do have insurance, I don't understand why. So if you have insurance and the other person has insurance, and you get in an accident and they're at fault, they admit they're at fault, file on the other person's insurance.
Right.
Don't file it. But a lot of people think they still have to file on their insurance.
Right.
And there's a lot of misconceptions with auto insurance now. Rear endings aren't automatically that person's fault anymore. That has changed. It used to be if you rear end somebody, you're automatically at fault.
Right.
But now companies are like realizing that people are baiting people into
like breaking.
I've seen the videos where people, you know, have dash cams and they can you can see that they're baiting these people into rear ending them. And so there's a lot of things. If it's a minor fender bender, don't call the cops anymore. They're not. The cops will tell you we're not coming out for it. If no one's hurt, if it's not major, you know.
Why is that though? Like, why is that? Because I would think sometimes the cop would be the mediator. Because, you know, if somebody gets hit, or let's just say, I remember one time I got hit by a metro bus.
Oh, well, that's different.
My car. And then I'm glad the cop showed up, because everybody jumped off that bus and was mad at me, even though the bus driver was at fault.
Oh, John, man, that's a little scary.
This is a long time ago, though. So but they jumped off the bus or was mad
But mad
me
at you.
because I stopped that. But you know, and the bus, it was a lane that was merging. And that bus was like, I'm getting in here. Yeah, he was, and I'm like, hold on, man. I'm leaning on my horn. Like, man, I know this dude hit me, man. Yeah. And so I was even on the side where he was sitting, where he had that little window and he had it open. And I'm like, hey, man, you know? And he still kept going. And so he sideswiped me.
Oh, man. But see, the thing with Metro is, for them, even if they're not at fault, they're at fault.
Yeah,
actually.
yeah.
So, you know, that's a different situation. Yeah. That's not another personal vehicle. That's a city bus. And, you know, they have their own regulations on how they handle things. But so when it, sorry about that. When it comes to my fender benders, the police aren't gonna come out for that anymore. I don't even like, I feel threatened, they have a gun, or, you know, somebody's hurt, then but if it's just, you know, the software ending, they're not gonna come out for that anymore.
Gotcha. Are they saying why, or they?
It's
the only reason I'm saying
because
I think the police play a good mediator. Because especially if people get mad, even if it's a minor fender bender, they want to get at like, what's up, like, you know, like that whole deal. I think cops being there could probably.
It's gotten bad in Houston too.
Yeah.
But the thing is this: a lot of people think that the police report is law. If the police didn't witness it with their own eyes, it's still a strong suggestion.
Yeah. That's true.
So that plays a part in it as well. Like I said, there's a lot of things people don't know. People think that the police report says I'm at fault, but insurance companies do their own investigations still as well. I mean, like I said, I've worked auto claims, and you know, on the inside at the the filing of auto claims, and I'm telling you, man, it's crazy where, you know, someone could clearly be at fault, but still say the other person's at fault. And just because they want to admit fault, now it's going to have to be the whole process of the police coming out. Now it's going to have to be the whole process of that person filing on their own insurance, even though they were in at fault, just because the person won't admit they were at fault. And then their insurance is going to fight to say, well, if they say they're not at fault, even if they're clearly at fault.
Right.
So it just exacerbates everything.
Yeah.
So people, just be honest. If you're at fault, But you know, there's a lot of things that go into, and insurance is constantly changing. Like the rules and different things every year, because we have to do continuing education usually like every 2 years. But every year there's something that changes about it. We could be in the middle of a deployment, like people working this hurricane. Things could change. Oh, you know, we're covering this. And then a month later, no, we're not covering. You know, or we're not. You know, things change so much. Things are fluid. But there are basic things that people need to know to help their claim. Because like I tell people, when it comes to an insurance claim, even if something is obvious, you have to still prove why they should pay out. That's how insurance works. Wow. You still have to prove if your roof is damaged, shingles are missing, that adjuster still has to write up that report in a way to prove why they need to cover those shingles. You know, and it's not that they won't cover it, but they're just making sure they're only paying for what they need to pay for. Yeah. So I tell people, that's why I say documentation, pictures, photos, all of that is important because it helps your case with the insurance company.
Wow. Well, let me ask you this, talking about auto insurance, man, because a lot of people don't know. So what did you do in a situation like I found myself in? So for instance, my car got hit while I was parked. Came out to go to work the next morning, and big old dent in my passenger door. Couldn't open the door. Called the police, did the police report, what have you. Filed a claim with my insurance company. They sent me a check, and they dropped me from my insurance.
They sent you a check. It's like, thank you for your service. We got
it. I called, made the claim. They asked me to send them pictures, send them the police report number. They verified it, and they mailed me a check about a week later.
Wow.
About $1,900, and they
took them out of business. Yes.
Oh, you took them out of business. You took all the general money.
But I mean, I was like, are you kidding me? I'm like, are you kidding me?
That's crazy. Yeah.
I mean, so what do you do if you find yourself in a situation like that, man?
Listen, So that decision was made by a group of people called underwriters.
Underwriters.
Yeah.
Underwrite people like because people always ask me that as a adjuster, what would happen to my? I say first of all, you'd have to talk. I don't, as a claims adjuster, I don't deal with policy payment, none of that. How much your policy will it go up and down? Yeah, that's on the agent side, and not only that is actually determined by the underwriters.
Yeah.
I call the underwriters the League of Extraordinary Gentlemen because they're like a shadowy secret society almost that determine if you're gonna be covered and what your coverages are gonna be. So underwriting that's who determined that.
UW, that's what they told me. Well, UW dropped you. I'm like, yo, right.
The underwriters.
It was underwriting.
Underwriters. So they determined that. So
what was the purpose? I mean, they still want to do business with me no more.
I would have to see the letter, but I would think that if you constantly parking your car in what they consider like a dangerous area, or you work in a dangerous place, when you constantly keeping your car in dangerous areas, where it's at risk, they can feel like, nah, we good.
They probably would check out the area I lived in. I don't know, but
That's odd though, but I mean, it's it's not unheard of, Yeah.
So real quick, I see you, Sarah Barfield. She put the word insurance should be foul language. It's necessary, unlike some foul language. So shout out to Sarah Barfield. That's actually my cousin. Just saw her in New Orleans this past weekend. She's a realtor in Red River Parish. If y'all looking for a home up in North Louisiana, holla at Sarah Barfield.
Okay, so you gave us Sarah's information. How can our audience reach you, man? Because I'm gonna talk to you after this show. How can our audience reach you?
You can reach me 832-851-3250. You can reach me on Facebook directly. You can drop some on my page, message me, and I will reach out. I'm actually tomorrow doing a Zoom, and I gotta send that link and event information out. I'm doing a disaster insurance Zoom tomorrow. I'm gonna put up I'm gonna go live on Facebook and all that too. Well, I'm gonna be doing this, but I have a PowerPoint presentation explaining insurance, the processes, how it works, offer services that people may need now, because people still need tree removal. People need because the thing is, especially in these southern areas, first of all, a lot of these bigger companies are pulling out because there's more storms now. And not only that, the deductibles are high. A $6,000 deductible means you need a roof replacement before you can start getting anything paid out. Usually. So there's so many people that don't need their fence fixed, and that's the only damage they had. Their whole fence is down. But because the deductible is $7,000, the insurance company, they may get $100 paid out and still need their fence fixed. So I'm doing an insurance seminar tomorrow live on Zoom to go through a structured, organized PowerPoint explaining things and explaining how to help with this particular barrel, what's going on here, because there's so many people who are, like I say, just getting power back, just getting water, trees everywhere, fences down, roof damage, and the insurance will, say, hey, it's legit, it's covered, but you got to be above that deductible before we pay out anything. But the good thing with homeowners insurance and deductibles is you don't have to pay that out your pocket. With auto insurance, you paying that deductible yourself. But in homeowners,
check,
No, with auto, you got to pay it out your pocket.
Oh, yeah, I know some that they'll take it out of the check, like if it's...
I've never heard of that. What insurance company is that?
Somebody told me that, so I don't know if I can't read it.
Same ones that dropped me from...
So, and like Sarah Barfield saying now, hurricane season isn't over until November.
Right.
We haven't even hit peak hurricane season.
I heard about that.
Beryl was the strongest hurricane that early in the year in recorded history.
Wow.
And you see how fast that it shifted. Because a week earlier, it was projected to hit Texas-Mexico border. And I was telling folks, hey, it's shifting. I'm telling y'all it's going to shift because I can see the wind shear. I can see where the Saharan dust was, and that path was curving right to it. I told folks it's going to shift to us. People didn't, it ain't going.
Well, here's the thing. Now they know that you got a little insight and psychic abilities.
Ain't no psychic.
Next time you put them there,
ain't no psychic. I'm just aware of my surroundings.
Yeah, that's a good thing because hopefully next time we can inform the public prior to.
Save
some people some hard.
Well, if HEB is saying, hey, we're rationing, you know,
Oh,
they
yeah,
know
you know
something.
something, yeah.
They know something.
Yeah.
Because the thing was, we were always going to be on the backside, no matter where it was projected to hit. But the fact that the eye came over doggone Katie, you know what I'm saying? That's real close.
Yeah.
And then with a fast moving storm, see, this storm was different from Harvey because Harvey was big and it like parked over us.
Yeah.
And dropped rain. The wind wasn't bad, but it just
Dropped
rained
rain.
so much.
Yeah.
With this one, the winds were bad because it was a fast moving storm.
Yeah.
Fast moving storms cause tornadoes and shift in the atmosphere and things of that nature. So that's why this one caused more wind damage. But it got out of Dodge.
Yeah.
It came through. You know, that house was shaking and my mom was like, let's get in the closet in the bathroom. I was like, cool. And we went in the bathroom at first, then we went in the closet, and later on my son was like, I was like, you was sleeping through this?
Oh,
You know, kids are, he was like,
they sleep through it all.
he was like, actually, I was in there praying. Y'all just didn't know. I was like, that's my boy. Yeah, man. After a while, to show, and this will preach, but after a while during the storm, me and my son was just chilling. I went back and got in the bed because I was just like, we felt some bad winds and the house was shaking, yet the roof is still there. It's daylight now, and you know, I was just like, you know, me and him, we just got you. We just like, it is what it is. Just lay down, let it pass. And what in my spirit was dropped was we finally got comfortable in God's protection. And that's when we was able to rest and chill and be like, it is what it is. Because at first you hear those shingles zip and stuff it sounded like a trampoline was hitting the house. It was, but after a while you like, you know what? We done heard some bad stuff and you know, the roof ain't off the house, you know. I'm opening the door, it wouldn't look that bad out there. Even though the wind is, so I was like, you know what? God got us and just was able to rest. So I'm not, so please, I'm telling y'all all this, don't worry. That's what I'm saying. Don't worry too much. Now, if your roof came off and stuff, that you worried. Because you know, it's nothing worse than a nighttime tornado. You can't see it. You can't see it coming. That's what had me worried at first. I was like, it's dark. If a tornado come in, like we in a manufactured home, that roof coming right off. But you know, God had us. He had us.
Well, look, we're gonna take a little break, and we're gonna come back to part 2 of this here episode. But before we do, I just want y'all to know we live right now on Facebook. We live on YouTube. Any questions y'all got right now? Y'all might want to chime in, ask the Don. Segun over here right now because I done made my mind up for next week. I'm on time up. I'm trying to get me a house. I need some information. Y'all better chime in now. So we're gonna take a quick break, man. We're gonna play a song, and we'll be right back with some more of this rapology. Peace.
Go to part 2 on this.
I'm gonna pause it, and you can come over here, John, or you can stay over there. I just want to.
I'm gonna ask about like life insurance stuff. You know about that or no?